beyond the mainstream media.
And it is that while the lethality of their power is greater than ever, their capacity to impose control over the politically awakened masses of the world is at a historical low. Namely, in earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people. Literally, it was easier to control 1 million people than physically to kill 1 million people. Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people.
The smoke in the air of our Concord bridges and Pearl Harbors is always smelled first by the farmers who come from their simple homes to find the fire and fight.
But if you embark on instituting a society where government protects you from yourself, you're in big trouble, and that's what they're doing. That's all government is force. I mean, do you have a choice about paying Medicare taxes? This government uses force to mold behavior or mold the economy. They've overstepped the bounds, and they violated the whole concept of our revolution and our Constitution.
Welcome, everybody, to the Thursday edition of Freedom Link Radio here on the Orion Talk Radio Network on this May the 31st, 2012. I'm Joe Joseph. We've got a jam-packed night as we have swung into the Bilderberg meetings for 2012 in Chantilly, Virginia. And joining me tonight to discuss this stuff, of course, is my cohort in crime, Tim Watts. And then our guests is the panel of guests is Popeye from federaljack.com and Down the Rabbit Hole. And then we have Ken Hildebrand of the Information Nation. And finally, our guest on the ground in Chantilly, Virginia, Alex Thomas, everybody. Mr. Intel Hub himself.
Hey, Alex.
Alex.
How's it going, guys?
How you
haven't
doing?
been black bagged yet, have you?
No, they haven't. They tried to. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
It's been a great experience. It's lots of support from all the other activists. And
are you taking it all in, dude?
I'm taking it all in.
I mean, this is something that's really never happened before in the history of alternative media, of having all of these activists assemble there to protest something like this. This has never been done. So, I mean, this is a tremendous opportunity for networking, for coming together, and hopefully, man, you know, maybe a little more unity within the alternative media than the divisiveness that we've been seeing lately.
Absolutely, Joe. And honestly, when you get here and you realize that all these people are normal people, there's no crazy Mossad agents around every corner. And you really start to see, you know, that these people, especially like, you know, I talked a lot with Charles Skelton. He writes for The Guardian, and with Jason Burmis. I mean, what Burmis has done, the help he's given us with the camera equipment, stuff like that has just been invaluable. So it's just been nice to kind of like realize that all these people, like all these crazy conspiracy theories about people are.
Well, dude, you know what?
So wait, are you saying that Dallas Goldbug is incorrect?
Actually, I was talking to Mark Dice, and we did a joke picture. We've got a picture with Shep and Mark in the picture, so we can confirm they are not the same people.
Wow. Unbelievable, folks. You heard it here first.
Don't worry, I'm sure Dallas Goldbug will try to debunk it and say it's all in the ears or some crap.
But you want to know something? What you're doing, dude, is akin to what us vets have gone through, especially any vets that have been in combat or in served overseas, done anything like that.
You've been deployed.
You train for this moment. You train for this moment, dude. And now's the big time. No,
we this morning or around 6 a.m. there was no security there yet, and myself, Shep, and Burmis, we drove in, and first thing we see is a dude with an Oathkeeper shirt and an Oathkeeper walking around the Westfield Marriott trying to find out what the Bilderberg's doing. So and then that Oathkeeper ended up giving us 2 different rides back to our car, where we had to park a mile away. So
yeah, man,
definitely a lot of outreach. A lot of people already knew who we were. So.
I saw the videos.
It's been amazing.
I saw the videos that you put out. You guys uploaded today, Alex, and there was a ton of people. I have to say, it was really like good to see that amount of people there. I mean, even in the beginning, before, and I'm sure there'll be more people tomorrow. But even just in the beginning, there was more people than I've ever seen at any Bilderberg protest in the past. So this is awesome.
Absolutely, and even there'll probably even be more Saturday when the people that couldn't get the day off of work will make it. I'd say there maybe was 200 to 400 at the peak of the day. So it was definitely, and also another thing to mention. I know I've seen some comments about this already. It definitely wasn't all yelling in a bullhorn. You had 3, 4, 5 people on a bullhorn, and 200 other activists. Trying to do what we can. And, honestly, when you can't get into the Westfield Marriott, you can't ignore the Bilderberg group, but, what else can you do? So this is just, and at the end of the day, them meeting has given so many people in the alternative media more contacts that will just continue to help us all.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It totally backfires on them in every way, shape, and form. But I have a suggestion for you. And I think that some of the donations that you've been getting to help offset the cost of this should actually go to Bilderberg 2013 protests. And I think you should be the first alternative media site to have its own LRAD. And then you could take bullhorning to the next level.
That would be
to hell with bullhorning. We have the Intel Hub LRAD. How cool is that?
Charlie Skelton was telling me that they actually think, we don't know for sure, but that from the odds and how many different times, that would be great. I think it's going to be in the United Kingdom next year as well. So,
wow, could you imagine? That'd be something else because the Brits take it to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, what they do is they put blood all over the streets and let the queen loose, and she just runs around and tries to eat as many people as she can and suck their souls out of them.
I could see that.
Yeah, and Charles actually read a show of unity from Occupy London for all the protesters at Bilderberg. So, there's a lot of people trying to reach out, wake the Occupy movement up, and not let Soros type take it over. So, definitely, if it's in the United Kingdom next year, we'll be there.
Now, folks.
So, Alex, does anybody know if Jim Tucker has received his list yet?
Yeah, well, actually, I think this year, I'm not 100% sure. This Bilderberg website may have been started by some activists, but it also may be the official site. And a partial list was released on that, and then a partial list was released by, I believe, Tucker. And then we put it together. So we do have the list out. As far as us, out of all the protesters, out of everyone, basically what we were focusing on, and Shep specifically, was direct pictures of those arriving in the cars. We're here with Webster Tarpley going through about 18 pictures trying to identify all these people. We've identified 11 of them, plus the list. Two of the 11 that we identified aren't on the list. So there's definitely people left off. The governor of Indiana was there, as well as John Kerry. So there's definitely people there violating the Logan Act.
So the thing to look for is, and that's a good point because I was going to bring that up here later in the conversation, but the thing to look for on those lists are the little players that aren't, the big fish yet, because usually when they bring those guys in, they're the ones they're grooming, for
exactly, dude.
Yeah, that's a great point when you consider that Rockefeller's 96 and Kissinger's 76. So,
he's 76?
Yeah, and we believe we had a major sighting, or that we definitely did see Kissinger. The photo that we took, there was someone in the way, but I can basically guarantee that everyone else got that photo. So yeah, Kissinger was definitely there. Many of the activists there were screaming about the fact, that Kissinger's wanted in multiple countries, couldn't even attend last year's Bilderberg in Switzerland. So, they're just the cops, Fairfax County, besides 2 or 3 of the 30 cops were basically drones guarding elitists who are stealing their pension funds.
So, I just don't understand it,
Anybody thinks that Henry Kissinger's a war criminal.
Somebody should strap him to a bomb and drop him somewhere.
Yeah.
I would like to see that, really. Now, folks, the YouTube channel.
But back to that, there's definitely a passing of the guard right now as far as the future Bilderberg or any other meetings that they might have to start now that Bilderberg's so big. The fact that it's so widely exposed. There was the mainstream media, there was the Washington Times. They did a really good piece. But besides that, and besides RT and a few German stations, it was just alternative media, not one station in Chantilly, Virginia. And, you have 200 protesters on the side of the road and hundreds of cops and no media coverage. It's pretty unbelievable, especially when you consider it's taxpayer money.
So anyway, the yak, everybody, Joe Joseph and Tim Watts. Our guests tonight, Popeye from FederalJack.com, Ken from the Information Nation here on the Orion Talk Radio Network, and Alex Thomas, who's on the ground for the IntelHub.com in Chantilly, Virginia. A very productive day for the alternative media and for all the activists out there that are participating in the protests for the 2012 Bilderberg meetings. And, boy, you guys got the plug from AJ today, man. It was pretty cool. What was that like?
It was pretty good. Like, honestly, a lot of the stuff about Alex Jones is also blown out of proportion. He was pretty cool from the very beginning. He bullhorned the fact that we were on Drudge a couple days ago. So that was a plus. But, and honestly, a lot of it wasn't like the whole thing was about Alex Jones, and he wasn't trying to make it about him. So, a lot of the stuff. Well, me and Jason and Shep got there.
You guys were there early. You guys were like early as hell, yeah.
Yeah, we were able to be inside where they blocked it off for about 30 minutes, and then we got kicked out, and then they built a security checkpoint, like right in front of the Marriott.
Wow. And it extends a half a mile? Is that right?
Well, that's a fence. Like, the checkpoint was if you started to drive into the driveway of the Marriott like you wanted to go into, it's not just the hotel. They have a big guest parking lot and another service building. So if you wanted to drive into that, when you went about 100 feet, there was think of a road checkpoint. They're checking everyone. You can't go past it. But the fence was actually on the outside because around the whole corner, you could technically run into the Westfield Marriott from the woods that are right there. So They ended up building a fence around that so no one would do that.
So it was all on private property, though, right?
Yeah, it was on private. Yeah, it was on private property. So, and they ended up putting barricades around most of the whole area, so it was harder to take pictures of Bilderberg attendees arriving. But with a little bit of talking with a few of the police officers who must have known their pensions were getting stolen, we were able to at least, Shep was literally an inch away from the tires every time he took the picture.
Wow.
So, yeah, he wasn't even paying attention to anything.
You guys got that kick-ass camera, too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Charlie Skelton, when we first met, he tapped the top of Shep's camera and said, "The pictures that come out of this are going in the Guardian. Make sure you get good ones." So we made sure we did. And honestly, no one else was really focused on pictures of attendees. So the 18 pictures we have now that we're going through are probably going to be exclusive to us. Tarpley's going to release some of them to his German publishing company that he's working with, and we're going to put some in the Guardian. But, yeah, no one else really got any of these pictures.
Fantastic. Hey, Timmy, you got anything to add?
I was just thinking that this could be, potentially one of the biggest Bilderbergs, or certainly one of the most interesting and pivotal Bilderberg meetings in a long time, because you think about everything that's happened in the last year, Alex, and all the things that have been put into place. God only knows, what they're talking about now is the next step.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. When taking a look at the list, I can't remember his name right offhand, but the head of U.S. cybersecurity, Northcom, was there. So definite cybersecurity, SOPA-type censorship was on the agenda, as well as I personally think they were definitely talking about things like the Syrian false flags that they're trying to set up that would eventually lead to some sort of confrontation with Iran. And then also taking a look at the list, there was a lot of people pushing the green agenda, Agenda 21 type.
Yeah, and the carbon tax. Yeah. That was one of the big things that Infowars.com put out today was that one of the main things Bilderberg is focusing on this year is putting the finishing touches to the global carbon tax agenda and putting that in full swing. And it's interesting, too.
Absolutely.
It's interesting, too. It's because of these carbon taxes that the use of coal in the United States to generate electricity has dropped now 32% in the last year, causing electricity rates to spike because now they're doing it all via natural gas. And it's a lot more expensive per megawatt. As a matter of fact, it's 8 times more expensive per megawatt. And they're saying by 2015, a $500 electric bill could be as much as $4,000 a month.
Wow.
So can you imagine that? And that's all part of this carbon tax agenda.
It's to make it too expensive for you or anybody else, except for this uber elite, to be able to afford electricity. And then they won't pay for their electricity anyway. They'll get some sort of subsidy, which you'll pay for with your taxes anyway.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. And so, I mean, what you guys are doing there is fantastic, because having somebody on the ground, having that many people on the ground, I mean, that's phenomenal for this type of event. I just wonder, I mean, is everybody there being is it a peaceful thing? Has anybody gotten crazy?
Yeah, it was mostly. Yeah, that's glad you brought that up. We were there. You know, we got there at 6, and by 6:45, we were kicked out of the front. We're in the front now, and where everyone ended up being, and with the security checkpoint. And about 20 minutes after that, Jason actually had. I think the guy was like between 50 and 60 years old. He was kind of talking normal with Jason about Loose Change and different films, and then he ended up going on to say, "God, I just wish someone would blow the Bilderbergs up," or something of that nature. And then you had like the 9 people that were there at the time, because in the morning there was very few people there.
Right.
Surround the guy, call him agent provocateur. It's all on film, and then 5 minutes later he's gone. So, and another thing on that is when we were looking through these pictures of that Shep took, like as the cars are driving by, one of the pictures actually showed what looks like one of the protesters that we saw there in the back of a car that we thought Bilderberg attendees would be in. So we may have confirmed an agent provocateur on a photo, but we're not sure.
Wow, how cool would that be? What a story! What a story!
Yeah, absolutely.
So have you seen any of the extreme security there, Alex? And, by that, the guys on the rooftops with the heavy munitions and stuff like that?
Well, you can't. I did see people on the rooftop when I was actually in the Westfield Marriott, but not when we're on the outside, because we can't even really see the top of the Westfield Marriott Hotel because of the woods that are right there.
Sure.
So, you're probably like 500 feet before you, or maybe more than that, before you're even close to the hotel, and then the security's way before that. So you couldn't really tell if there was a machine gun turret or anything like that. What you could tell was there was about 85 Fairfax County police using taxpayer money, and then a bunch of Secret Service, as well as whatever federal agencies that we couldn't identify.
I wonder if we couldn't do like a Freedom of Information Act and find out if oftentimes when this happens, the organization that's holding a meeting like this has to pay for it. They have to pay for the police. Believe it or not, it's not just something that's given to them.
Yep.
Now, in this case, I'm sure it was, but probably it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see if they actually paid for the extra security. And or could you imagine if machine gun fire opened up on protesters for this type of thing? What that would cause?
I'm thinking there was maybe machine gun turrets, which would be a 5th line of defense if thousands of protesters broke through 85 police and a security checkpoint, something that none of the protesters would even consider doing in the first place. So, maybe they were that scared and they wanted to put machine gun turrets on.
But, I mean, could you imagine if they actually opened fire, dude, on people that were marching? Nobody there has weapons or anything like that. So
there was a few people open carrying, but this is Virginia, so it's not anything out of the ordinary.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, I mean, you'd have another Kent State on your hands like you wouldn't believe. I truly believe that would be the case. And maybe
that type of stuff would be them shooting on protesters would be instant mainstream coverage, was what they don't want.
That's right.
So,
folks,
at the end of the day, they were really letting us get by with a lot. So.
Folks, we're at the half hour, so sit tight. We'll be back in 3 minutes. You're listening to
World Order Dead Last, Patriotism in Action, weekdays 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, right?
All right, stand by.
On Orion Talk Radio. Go back to sleep.
Folks, if you want some great radio to listen to during the day, while you're at work, wherever you're at, check out The Edge with John Stokes, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. Talk that you will not get from the mainstream media. That much I can guarantee you. Never at a loss for the unbelievable Mr. John Stokes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Freedom Link program tonight with, geez, we got a bevy of folks in the house. Joe Joseph, Popeye, Ken Hildebrand, Alex Thomas, our special guest tonight. Him and Shepard and Bellis from the Intel Hub are in Chantilly, Virginia, for the big Bilderberg conference. Alex, guys, welcome back.
Absolutely. We're just going through film, and it's a journey. We brought up the 18 pictures immediately of that Shep got, but we've got about 8 hours of video footage to go through. So, the best of our footage will be coming out when we get back, but a lot of iPhone material. With technology now, I can film a video and have it uploaded to YouTube 30 seconds after the video's been done filming.
Wow, so, that's awesome.
Their technology is definitely backfiring on them.
You where was it? Was it Switzerland? Where was the last Bilderberg where these guys supposedly got their ass chased out?
Yeah, it was in the Swiss Alps. There was 500 protesters in the Swiss Alps. Henry Kissinger couldn't show up then because they would have arrested him as a war criminal. But here in Chantilly, the Fairfax County Police are protecting Henry Kissinger. It's fair to say, though, it is fair to bring up that a lot of the county police weren't against us. They were, I guess the old cliche of they were doing their job. But there was definitely some who were, when they were in the position to guard right where the cars were coming, were letting us get really good shots. I mean, picture PMZ paparazzi. That's exactly what Shep was doing. So it was not all bad as far as the police, but it was still sad to see them protecting very people, getting their kids vaccinations and fluoride and, to top it off, stealing their pension fund.
Well, it'd be nice, if the Americans could, follow along with the Swiss so we could chase their ass out of America, too.
I mean, how cool would that be, dude?
Where is, the Sheriff Joe Arpaio's? I mean, those are the kind of guys that we need right now, because you're not going to get help from the local police because they're bought and paid for to go protect those guys. But, maybe the county sheriffs, maybe there's hope there. Send those guys over there.
Well, that's who's there. It's Fairfax County Police. It's it's the county police. It's not municipality. That's from the sheriff's office.
Oh, well, that's not right.
No, of course it's not right.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, I mean, I'm right there with you. That we need more sheriffs like that go and take that power, that do what they're supposed to do and abide by their oath. Which, by the way,
the Swiss are the only one with any balls then.
Yeah, well, I think people in Europe in general are they're a little more active. They're more vocal for sure. I mean, they go out there.
Yeah, there was about, I'd say, 15 people who came from the United Kingdom alone.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm just so glad that they got such a good turnout. And you said that by Saturday you should have the biggest turnout, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we decided to come 2 days early. Shep and I still do have the regular day job, so we are leaving in the middle of Saturday. But we have, we still have a few people who will be on the ground with a few of our cameras, and we'll get the morning protest. And then tomorrow we'll be focusing a lot on interviews with activists and seeing whatever footage we can get. I'm not exactly sure how tomorrow's going to go, but
that's awesome, dude.
We'll see. One thing I wanted to mention was we didn't have our live stream running today simply because we kind of just figured getting these pictures was going to be more important than a live stream when Luke had his, Mark Dice had his. There was plenty of live streams, but tomorrow I will be live streaming all day.
Cool. That's fantastic. Now, as far as the coverage is concerned, are you putting all the footage on both intelhub.com and on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, absolutely, and especially on the intelhub.com/Bilderberg 2012. That page is a hub that has everything we've done so far. But, you can find the videos independently on the Not For Sale channel and articles with the videos in it throughout the intelhub.com.
Sweet. Hey, you guys got anything for Alex?
Actually,
I just think it's great that they went,
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alex, have you noticed any foreign people? Have you guys noticed anybody going in that were foreigners, not so much American politicians or
absolutely.
heads of state,
absolutely.
but foreign people?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the Bilderberg attendees that we have identified, I'm sure many of them went through this back service entrance, most of the U.S. politicians, but there's definitely, we've identified 3 from Canada. Heather Reisman is one of them. Allison Redford, which actually they announced that she was going to be there in the Edmonton Journal, but we do have a close-up picture with her. And yet most of the people that we identified were foreign, besides the few that we know were there, like Governor Mitch Daniels, who's basically a fascist himself, and John Kerry. Mitt Romney could have been there, but, that would have been the biggest story there was. So I think if he did go, they definitely swooped him in the back entrance.
That'd be pretty ballsy, too, And, again, folks, intelhub.com, you guys have a chip-in button on that page, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We were lucky enough to be able to afford the initial cost somewhat thanks to sponsors, and then out-of-pocket costs. So what we're doing right now is just running a donation drive, try to offset some of all the costs. We've kind of came up with hundreds of dollars of more expenses here since we got here. So anyone that can donate, I appreciate it. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just spread the word about Bilderberg and keep waking people up.
Yeah, dude, keep doing the good work out there. You, Shep, and Jason, and give us updates anytime you want. We'll have you live on the air or whatever. But, folks, support the intelhub.com. Great outlet for news and information, as well as coverage of Bilderberg 2012. Thanks, Alex, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it, guys.
No sweat,
dude.
man.
Say hi to Shep, too, buddy.
I definitely will.
All right, take care. Right. Well, boys, can you have been mysteriously silent? This is not the crotchety curmudgeon's way, is it?
Oh, I've just been enjoying the conversation.
Oh, is that what they call it? I call it sleeping.
Shh, don't. We're crying out loud, Joe. They're not supposed to know I'm sleeping on the job.
Guys, talking about Bilderberg, one of the main things that they did today was they started talking about this global warming agenda. And do you guys really think they're trying to knock everybody down to third world status? All this, make a true slave class?
Oh, I do, absolutely. I think everything they've done, shows that's exactly what they want. I don't think they've shown anything to indicate otherwise.
What about you, Ken?
Well, people know how I feel about the global warming issue, which is, I think it's a load of BS. The first thing they're going to have to do is blow out that big candle in the sky if they want to stop any type of global warming. They're looking for any way they can to control the population. And if they can tax us, they'll tax the heck out of us. They don't want you going on vacations. They don't want you taking trips. They don't want you. All they want you to do is buy the stuff, stay home and buy more stuff, and keep them happy. But they don't want you to have the freedom to travel that you've had. Typical example is TSA. They're restricting people's travel all over this country, and they're making it more and more difficult for people to travel. These people are sick and twisted individuals. They're like the old kings of old. I'm the king of the world, Ma. And I think they just want to stop people from doing anything they can, and they want their agenda, where it will blow up in their face. As prices for energy start to rise, people will be using less and less energy.
Well, that's the theory.
But the problem being is when it gets to a point where creating energy is no longer profitable, what are they going to do?
Well, exactly right. Well, let's think about this too. I mean, how much are people willing to give up or cut back before they revolt?
Well, people are revolting the way they are. See, in Europe, most people in Europe, when they sit down at the dinner table, they will sit there and talk politics.
Oh yeah, they're plugged in.
Yeah, politics is a very big thing in European families. My grandfather and my grandmother came from Germany after World War I, and I remember we used to sit down at the dinner table at their house, and that's all that was talked about was politics.
And speak of the days of Kaiser Wilhelm, yes.
Jawohl, mein Führer.
It's with the neighbors, too, Ken. You know, the neighbors and people, they're all get involved in politics.
That's right. Folks, don't go away. We'll be back for is the Freedom Link at CenturyLink.net. That's the Freedom Link at CenturyLink.net. We have a panel discussion going on between myself, Tim Watts, Popeye from Down the Rabbit Hole and FederalJack.com, and Ken Hildebrand from the Information Nation. And, guys, I saw Chris Steiner in the chat room talking about taking calls. And, well, you know what? Let's take some calls tonight, shall we? The number, folks, for anybody that wants to call in is 888-320-6151. That's 888-320-6151. Let's see how Joe Joseph can totally nuke this to hell.
Yes, I'm sure you'll do quite well, young man.
Oh, yeah, you're doing better by the minute.
Well, guys, there is some stuff to talk about. You know how these elitists, and I say that in big air quotes, you know how they always say, well, we can't let a good crisis go to waste? Have you noticed how many crises there are right now?
Well, sure.
Have you noticed how much attention is being focused on the zombie face eater instead of Bilderberg?
Absolutely, dude. And they're popping up everywhere. Copycats everywhere.
Oh, of course. Hold on. Uh-oh. We have a caller, Joe.
Oh, no.
You ever know it's your brother.
Oh, no.
Yeah, here we go, buddy.
Oh, boy.
You're live, Greg.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, hey. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. What are you guys talking about? I just got on.
Well, yes, we weren't talking about really anything except Bilderberg. Hello?
Hold on, Joe. I'm going to take one more call. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, let's just bring everybody on at one time.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'll be fantastic.
Go ahead, caller. You're live.
Hey, Joe, is that you?
Yes, it is.
How you doing? The first thing I got to say is Bilderberg should never meet in this country. It's illegal meeting. Is it not?
Yeah, I think it is.
Why can we not have... What's that? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue what you were saying.
All right. What I'm saying is we should have judges that have the balls to say, you will not meet in our country. They should know the Constitution. They should know the Logan Act. They should know what the hell is going on and say, you will not do this in our country.
Yeah,
so they'll do it over in Europe and all that shit. And
yeah, but I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll do it, Bob. Let me tell you why. Because these people that are put in these places, the judgeships, the politicians, they all come because of the money that's spent on the campaigns by these people. So you're not going to get that kind of justice. It's just not going to happen.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean...
Exactly. Even at the local level, we can't fight this shit at the local level because of the judges. Because it's all money that comes from the state, and that comes from the federal government. It's all bought and paid for.
And you know what else, too? I'll be honest with you. John King, who is also a Freedom Link regular, has... he went with this whole the sovereign citizen movement, right? And went through all the paces and dotted the I's and crossed the T's and wrote this thing and one in red ink and purple ink and had his stamp and all that. And you know what those guys did? They were like, right. They have to recognize that stuff as legit. And if they don't recognize it as legit, then you have to make it legit. Then the only way to make it legit is to outpower these people. And right now, I just don't see – people don't realize just how much power they wield. And because of that –
Do we really wield any power, Joe?
Absolutely.
Do we really?
Absolutely. Everybody here, every listener has a sphere of influence. Some are bigger than others, you know? But everybody does, and it's how you affect people within your sphere of influence that gives you power. You don't have to go and project. Not everybody here is going to be an MLK or somebody, a mover and a shaker to that level, but you can be at your level, and that's all it takes. If people just did that, we would be in a lot better shape.
Yeah, I've been fighting the food companies and all that, and I've been winning a couple battles here and there, but what I'm getting at is, for the most part, we really can't get anywhere because they will do what they want. Agenda 21 is their plan, and they will enforce it.
Well, they can try, you know, but
that's what they're doing. But
do not have to consent, and
they've been taking farmers' homes for years. They're taking people's homes. The bankers are taking people's homes for. You know the situation with the banks, with the foreclosures and all that, for people that have actually even paid off their mortgages.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. You're right. Well, hey, look, we're up against the end of the hour, so thanks for calling in, Bob. And
all right, and hey, I don't watch TV. We're all actors in this bullshit.
That's right, dude. That's right.
Very good, Bob. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the calling, and thanks for your
support. Y'all have a good night.
You too, buddy.
Thanks, man. Good.
Wow, Bob had a lot to say, dude. I'll tell you what. And everybody, you know, everybody feels kind of helpless from time to time, but we're really not. I mean, look at what's going on at Bilderberg. Look at the attention that it's getting and the people that are going out there. I mean, for the first time, guys, we have a mainstream media outlet, the Washington Times, actually covering it.
And you know, look at the security, though, Joe, that they put into that, which just it shows their fear.
Yeah, absolutely. They are afraid, dude. They're afraid. They know that things are waking up, and that, to your point, Tim, it's scary because could this be the last Bilderberg meeting?
Yeah, you know, again, with everything that's happened in 2011, they have put a lot of integral cogs into place, you know, to, for a police state here in the United States, all the way around the world. I just wish I was a fly on the wall and to be able to hear what's going on this year at this Bilderberg, and especially when they bring it to Virginia, you know, CIA country. And I don't know, you know, it's just... I have to think there's probably a big agenda this year, and I'd love to know those people that are coming to the back door, because you know people like Hillary and that kind of group, they have to be there.
Now you guys
in another way.
You guys know Daniel Estulin, right?
Sure.
Do you guys know he wasn't allowed in the United States? He's actually banned from coming into the country.
Yeah, I can't remember what the story was on him, but he's been doing Bilderberg about as long as Tucker has. Well, maybe not as long as Tucker.
Tucker's been doing it since 1954.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, Joe. You want to take? We got one more call. You want to take it?
Yeah, we can take it.
All right, hold on. Let me add it here. Caller, you are live. Go ahead.
Hello. Is it come to me?
Yes, yeah, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you mention, first of all, Kissinger was in his 70s. He turned 89 this month.
See? 89. I knew he was an old curmudgeon.
Hey.
Yeah, he's an old guy. I think he's a worthless eater, I think. He's older than me. But another thing, that last caller that called in, talking about farms and, or land and mortgages. Even if you had your mortgage paid off, they're still going to know you on the taxes. And when you can't pay your taxes, they got you that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to get us one way or another. They may be running scared. They may be a little bit behind their agenda, but one interesting to keep your eye on is Syria and Damascus. In Isaiah 17:1, it has never been destroyed, and it is prophesied to be destroyed. And we are talking about Syria and Damascus a lot lately in the news. It might be interesting to be watching that. But,
it's interesting to see history kind of unfold, isn't it? I mean, these globalists they, in one way, shape, or form through history, they've tried and tried and tried and tried, and they keep failing each time. And each time their plan evolves just a little bit, and they get a little bit farther. So it's interesting to see how this unfolds here, but that's a very good point. I didn't think about that. I'm going to have to do some research into that.
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vatican, Chris Pinto on his show today, had Blood in the Vatican. A priest divulged that back, I guess, in 83 or something, some gal that was 16 years old or something like that was used as a prostitute or something like that, and they killed her. And it's now come out in the headlines of the Vatican, and everybody was protesting against the Pope. He did a short clip on that. His radio show is noiseofthunder.com. He does a 30-minute clip every day.
Cool.
So the Vatican, the Pope's now getting yelled at a little bit. Yay! Not that he's accountable for anybody. He's under no authority, but he's over the international court system as of 2010, and you're considered a terrorist as of 2007 if you badmouth the Pope.
Yeah, that's right. Well, hey, we're out of time, but thank you for the phone call. I appreciate you calling in. Folks, hour number one is done. Hour number two is on the way. When we come back, we've got plenty of headlines to talk about. Europe is going down the tubes quick. I want to talk about
News beyond the mainstream media.
And it is that while the lethality of their power is greater than ever, their capacity to impose control over the politically awakened masses of the world is at a historical low. Namely, in earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people. Literally, it was easier to control 1 million people than physically to kill 1 million people. Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people.
The smoke in the air of our Concord bridges and Pearl Harbors is always smelled first by the farmers who come from their simple homes to find the fire and fight.
But if you embark on instituting a society where government protects you from yourself, you're in big trouble, and that's what they're doing. That's all government is force. I mean, do you have a choice about paying Medicare taxes? This government uses force to mold behavior or mold the economy. They've overstepped the bounds, and they violated the whole concept of our revolution and our Constitution.
And hour number two is upon us here at the Freedom Link. I'm Joe Joseph, along with Tim Watts and our guests, Ken from the Information Nation here on Orion Talk Radio, and Popeye from Down the Rabbit Hole and FederalJack.com. And boys, what should we take up here in hour number two?
Collection?
Ah, very good.
There you go.
Well, let's see. The collection plate over in Europe is kind of empty. And matter of fact, the collection plate all over the world, for that matter, is pretty bad. So bad, in fact, that according to CNBC, banks are now being pressured by their respective governments to buy government debt. apparently there just aren't enough takers for it. So somebody's got to monetize it.
Well, the problem is, what's the difference if the banks buy the debt, or if the people buy it? If the governments buy the debt or the people buy it, it's all the same money. It's all the same fiat money, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. So why don't they just take the debt and throw it out the window and start over?
That's right. Hey, that'd be nice. Just take
I like that biblical thing, where like every seventh year you just kind of wipe everything off the book.
The Shemitah. That's right.
Because that sixth year, I'd be buying a boat, dude. I'd be loading up.
Oh, yeah, loading up for sure. But it says U.S. and European regulators are essentially forcing banks to buy up their own government's debt, a move that could end up making the debt crisis even worse, a Citigroup analyst says. Regulators are allowing banks to escape counting their country's debt against capital requirements and loosening other rules to create a steady market for government bonds. While that helps government issue more and more debt, the strategy could ultimately explode if the governments are unable to make the bond payments, leaving the banks with billions of toxic debt. Captive banks' demand can buy time and can help keep domestic yields low. However, the distortion that builds up over time can sow seeds for an even bigger crisis. Yeah. And so what you're doing is, if the mortgage bubble wasn't bad and the derivatives bubble and everything else, now we've got, the student loan bubble, and we've got now the government debt bubble. Because now these private banks are having to monetize the government's debts all over the world. And it's like you say, Ken, feasibly it should just be as easy as erasing ones and zeros, hitting the delete or backspace button, or erasing it on a ledger.
Well, what's the difference between $100 trillion or $1.380? It's all phony money. It has no intrinsic value whatsoever. And when you get right down to, it's funny when you listen to some of these experts and they're talking about, $1 billion here and $1 billion there. They're talking somewhere in the vicinity of $100 quadrillion in debt.
Can you imagine? What is that? I mean, that's just unbelievable, beyond imagination.
Well, what the heck? Years ago, if you'd have said, "Oh, we're going in debt," we'll be $1 trillion in debt, the people would have gone off the deep end. Now we're $15 trillion and counting.
Right.
You got the guy in the White House. What's his name? Old Bummer. And old Bummer there is just, he ragged on George Bush for raising the national debt by $4 trillion in 8 years, and this scumbag has done more than that in 3.5. The people should be furious.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know if Bush raised it that high. Did he, Tim?
The national debt?
Yeah, I can't remember. I know.
Sure worked on it pretty good. Anybody that's been in there since 9/11 is like taking this thing through the rough.
Yeah.
But, I was going to say one word that's synonymous with debt is bondage. And they want us here because it's to their advantage. It's power, when we're in debt.
Yeah. No, I agree, dude. Popeye knows all about bondage.
I've been waiting for some stupid-ass remark.
I swear.
Thank you very much. I just flew in from Miami, and boy, are my arms killing me.
He can't fly in from Miami, man. He said one wing is hurt.
Yeah, it got gnawed off by the zombie. Didn't you see them?
These cannibals are everywhere, dude.
No, you know what it is, dude? Weird shit happens all the time. They're just throwing it out there because they're focusing on this so that people freak out about that, and it plays into that zombie apocalypse crap.
Well, what is up with that, dude? I mean, that came on like wildfire.
PCP, bro. You know what? You get some bad PCP, and they're like I'm telling you, this kind of thing happens a lot. It's just they're focusing on it and they push it.
It's that or MK Ultra, dude.
Wait a minute, man. Are you saying that stuff isn't really bath salts from Walmart?
Yeah, no. You know what, dude? If it is the bath salt thing, then whatever. How come we haven't had this rash of killings all of a sudden? It's out of nowhere.
Oh hell, man. Hey, Bobby, don't smoke that.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be buying.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You shouldn't be buying your recreational drugs from the shop at the local gas station, the little Quickie Mart booth. You shouldn't be, trying to buy your recreational drugs there.
That's right.
Just as forethought, if you're going to do things like that, perhaps maybe you should put a little, forethought into what you do. That way you don't hurt yourself or others.
Yeah, like risk mitigation there. Like, I'm going to lock myself in my room.
Well, dude, honestly, that I think the coverage is overplayed on it. But, I mean, it is crazy that the guy did attack the other guy and eat his face.
I mean, you saw the pictures, dude.
Yeah, I have the pictures. It's rather disgusting.
Gruesome, bro. I mean, that's worse than that monkey did to that lady.
Yeah, I don't know if that guy's going to... They're like, he's going to need multiple surgeries, you think?
Well, did they do an autopsy on the guy? And because they certainly know if there was PCP or drugs.
It takes months. It could take up to like a month and a half for the top.
Not for the Kennedys.
Oh, yeah, unless you're Bobby Kennedy's estranged wife.
I was going to say, full feathers. Yeah,
unless you're Bobby Kennedy's estranged wife. Then the toxicology results are back within 24 hours.
the express lane, only for the Kennedys.
Yeah, they have Michael Baden on and his toolkit on
speed dial.
They're like, "Hello, Dr. Baden." Unbelievable. Did you see that Bloomberg is trying to ban supersized sodas and stuff?
Dude, can you believe that? It's not about the sodas, dude. We grew up with these things,
bro.
You know what it is? It's not only that, but it's like kids don't get out and exercise anymore. They don't go out and they you don't see them playing hockey, street hockey and
because they're not allowed to because somebody got sued once and now it's against the law for the kid to run out there unless the parents have like $1 million worth of insurance coverage.
Oh, I know. So I mean, they don't do this. They don't interact. They're antisocial, or maybe they're too social, just in the wrong fashion. Not with the neighborhood getting together, everybody in the neighborhood. Oh, now you can't even know your neighbor.
Yeah, but the thing is, today you got to watch out for those kids because they get the strongest thumbs in the world.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Good.
The Xbox, PlayStation generation.
So how about that? If you're going to do that, then how about we put in a mandatory exercise? If you're going to take away soda, then, I mean, feasibly, you could force everybody to have to do mandatory exercise and check in somewhere and do your 8 hours of cardio a week.
Well, the military has weight restrictions and stuff, and if you're over the weight restriction, you can't lose the weight in a fast enough period of time. They boot you out.
Dewey Oxenberger couldn't live in today's military, huh?
Yeah, exactly. No, the ox wouldn't have made it, dude.
Now that's the name we gave to the people that failed the PRTs, either because of body weight or whatever. We called them the Chubb Club, or in the Navy we called them the Forward Ballasting Team, because they had to. I was on a small ship, and
guys moved to the front.
The only place they could do it was on the forecastle, up on the front of the ship. So that's what we called them, the Forward Ballasting Team, because we always said the ship's draft went down about a foot when they were up there. We'll be right back after these messages, folks, so don't go away.
That's good stuff.
DependableVoice.com, the total solution, one-stop shop for your business telecommunications.
And this morning on all supersized sugary drinks, New York City planning to outlaw sales of big sodas and other sweet drinks over a certain size in an effort to curb obesity. It is the first ever nationwide ban of its kind. And ABC's Dr. Richard Besser is here with more. And Rich, this is raising a lot of eyebrows.
It really is. I mean, this is big. This is a dramatic measure. The mayor is saying this is about helping people lose weight because more than half of all of the people in New York City are obese or overweight, and that number is only growing.
If approved, the ban could prevent restaurants, delis, even movie theaters from selling sugar drinks larger than 16 ounces. Drinks in cups and bottles larger than that would be illegal. Larger sizes of water, milk, and fruit juice could still be sold. New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg told the New York Times, New York City is not about wringing your hands. It's about doing something. I think that's what the public wants the mayor to do. He says he's targeting the drinks because they're empty calories, that they cause people to gain weight without helping them feel full. An idea the city has been pushing in public service ads since 2009.
I think it's a good way to send the message that, he's supporting healthier lifestyles.
I don't think it's the mayor's job to decide what sort of soft drinks that people in Manhattan or anywhere in the world want to buy, for that matter.
The proposed ban is just the latest in what many call his war on obesity. Since being elected, Bloomberg has banned smoking in public places, stopped the use of trans fats in city restaurants, and also required them to post calorie counts on menus. An idea later incorporated in President Obama's healthcare legislation in 2010.
So let me show you what this looks like, Robin. This is a 16-ounce cup that has 200 calories, 12 and a half sugar cubes. 12 and a half, that's a lot of sugar. So the mayor is looking to ban anything above that. So here we have a 32-ounce cup, 400 calories. That's got 25 sugar cubes. That's a ton of sugar.
It's like you said, it's empty calories, but I don't think people realize. I mean, when they see it like this, I think it dawns on them. But what do you think about all this?
Well, clearly, if you want to lose weight, the one thing to do is knock out your sodas. If you have one 20-ounce soda per day and you cut that out, you could lose 25 pounds a year. 25 pounds. But you have to want to do it, and I don't think this ban is going to make people want to change
the best is her. That's what she says.
Do it, but at least it's sparking dialogue.
We're talking
people
about
are talking
That's
about
right.
it.
Everyone's talking about it.
No, but to say it's against the law?
That's a little far.
That is.
That's really.
And then, of course, Stephanopoulos comes in. Well, that's debatable. F you, Stephanopoulos.
That's debatable?
Yeah.
Really?
That's our media failing us again. Yeah, let's talk about soda today. We're going to talk about soda today. Yes, we're going to take moral high ground. We're going to talk about soda.
Now,
what about all the anorexic people that are just being kept alive by the sodas that they drink? You going to kill them off now?
You can be talking about Bilderberg or something like that.
Well, they do have the Atkins diet where it's no carbs, and I'm sure they have like the Coca-Cola diet where that's all you have.
Well, honestly, they should. If they really cared about people, they wouldn't let you drink Coca-Cola. Period. With all the phosphoric acid in there, every time you drink one, it actually erodes away bone. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Be upset. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I think what Bloomberg's doing, I think him being the police state nanny state up there is ridiculous. But at the same token, F soda. Just drink something healthier. Although portions aren't going to do anything. If they really cared about you, they would say, look, Bloomberg as the mayor would say, we're not going to allow Coca-Cola products in the city because they're dangerous, because there's stuff in it. We urge you to use something else. Pepsi products, Soylent Pepsi. So they're using fetuses in their stuff. We're not going to. That would be something responsible to do. And we tell people, look, we're doing it because this is the proof here. They're using human fetal tissue inside. Do you want to drink that? No. So let's drink some clean, unfluoridated water. But
there you just hit the key there, dude. I was going to say the hypocrisy in all of this. He's going after pop, How about going after the city frickin' water in New York?
Well, they're busy putting drugs and fluoride in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what keeps them all...
Pepsi, that's bad for you. The Coke's bad for you. But drink our water. Trust us.
But therein lies the problem with the, taking choice away from people on the whole. It's not going to make it go away. People aren't going to just stop drinking sodas. It's just going to be sold some other way. That's all.
Sure.
They'll find a way to do it.
I can't have a 32-ounce Coke when I go to Burger King. Okay, give me 4 of them double meat beef Whoppers then.
Right.
Two.
Right. Hey, so how did Prohibition work out for us? It's gone now.
Stand there.
You can't take that away from people. People have free will, and they're still going to get it regardless of how you feel or what's illegal. If
I'll
they
tell
want
you how
it,
Prohibition worked out. Just Google Al Capone.
Hey, Mayor Bloomberg, I know you listen to the program. I mean, let's get right down to basics. Orion's one of your favorite networks. So I have a suggestion for you. You want to get the people in New York into shape. I think you should have an exercise program. Every day you should stand out in front of City Hall in your sweats and take the people for a 3-mile run.
Yeah.
See how many people show up, you moronic ass.
I would like to see that.
I would, too. I think Bloomberg, the only people that be in shape are probably his bodyguards because he's in no kind of shape either. He's an old fart that's just turning around wanting to dictate to people how to run their lives.
Yeah, but he's not fat.
Well, you know, let's be honest.
You can do it to tote around all the money that guy's got.
You can exercise. Wait, dude, you can exercise all you want. The military just put out a study proving that their troops now are having thicker waists and everything else, and just overall body thickness thicker than they used to be, even 10 years ago. Yeah. And they're trying to figure out why. I'll tell you why. It's all the goddamn preservatives they're putting in the food.
MSGs, yeah.
Dude, seriously, you know, people don't understand. The body has two basic functions. There's two systems that it does to get rid of your waste. You either crap it out, okay, or it stores it in your fat cells. So if your body can't process this man-made crap, all this chemicals, BHT, and all this other crap, you won't poop it out. So what it does is it stores it inside your fat cells. So that is what all that crap is in all these obese people. That's layers and layers of preservatives and chemicals. And then over time, that stuff leaches into their system slowly because, you know, maybe your body will latch onto this group of fat cells and eat off of them. And inside there is BHT from, you know, 6 burgers ago or whatever the hell you got it from. Mm-hmm. And that's why these people end up dying at 45 or 50 years old, because they're slowly poisoning themselves. That's the reality of things. So you know what? Cutting out sodas isn't going to do anything.
You know, he reminds me of the sister that you used to have that would go, "That's not good for you."
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Exactly, dude.
Shut the hell up!
If people want to drink soda...
It sure gives a whole new meaning to going to the back alley to buy Coke in New York City now.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Dude,
but I mean,
does anybody want to live in New York anymore? Like, really? Tell me.
In the last 10 years, okay, from year 2000 to year 2010, the state of New York lost 3.5 million people.
And they're still overpopulated.
Yeah, let me ask you something, man. So let's just say you go on a crash diet. Right? And you lose a ton of weight. Does it just flood your system with all that crap?
When you ever notice when you're a lot of times when you're dieting, even if you're not eating much, you'll be going to the bathroom 3, 4, 5 times a day, and sometimes you're like, God, man, this will get. I'm not trying to be graphic, but you'll be like, wow, you know, what did I eat or whatever? That's the preservatives and stuff that's been in your body for God knows how long, and now, yes, it's going through your body, Joe.
That's freaking just. I'm not getting good visuals, and it's just not good. That's great, because I'm like the preservative king. So, it's curtains for me, boys. It's curtains. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Let's talk Obamacare when we get back.
Do I have your rims?
Surely.
Dr. Rebecca Carley, Saturdays 3 to 5 Eastern, here on the Orion Talk Radio Network.
Don't forget about the special that Orion Talk Radio is running right now, folks, whereas if you donate $20 to Orion Talk Radio, you'll get a free T-shirt. It's a fantastic T-shirt made of strong, durable material, and all that for $20. I'm telling you, folks, you can't get a much better deal than that. And more stuff to come. More stuff to come, more merchandise. So, I'm here talking with my buddies, Ken, Hildebrand, Popeye, and Timmy Watts, and now the subject gets to Obamacare. You know, guys, this son of a bitch, the Supreme Court is set to make its decision next month on Obamacare, and there's been some talk in the media about it. The first one is Bloomberg News, who says drug makers vowed to campaign for health laws, so the memos show. And Pfizer comes out that Pfizer made a very significant public campaign bankrolling political ads in support of the 2010 health care law, including TV ads, while the Obama administration promised to block provisions opposed by drug makers. Documents released by Republicans show. The internal memos and emails for the first time unveil the industry's plan to finance positive TV ads and supportive groups, along with providing $80 billion in discounts and taxes that weren't included in the law.
Wow.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Buy a lot of Cracker Jacks.
That's a lot of Cracker Jacks. The administration has previously denied the existence of a deal involving political support. Of course, you didn't come into some sort of understanding.
Men.
It is, man. It's making me sick. And so Nancy Pelosi, Timmy's girlfriend,
Fancy Nancy,
comes out today and says the bill is ironclad. It's ironclad. Nobody was frivolous with the Constitution and the health of the American people in writing the bill, she said.
She doesn't even know what form of government we had, and she's going to turn around and tell us how constitutional that piece of garbage is?
But wait, it continues. It says, that's where my confidence springs from. The merit of the bill and the nature of the Constitution. The makeup of the court, well, we'll see. But she believes that it's going to pass by a score of 6-3.
Well, isn't this the same bill that we had to pass before we could see what was in it?
Yes, it was.
How does she know what's in it?
I don't think she does.
Did she even read it?
Did she even have it read to her? Did she get the Cliff Notes?
Hey, Nancy, I got one thing to say to Nancy.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, she is a real piece of work, that one. But I'll tell you what, I'm not confident. I am not confident that they're going to strike it down, because we've seen this before where, there's all this talk. Oh, yes, we'll come out. And the mainstream media is just focused on trying to make people perceive it's one way, and then all of a sudden, bam, they they KO you.
It was like we were talking before when we were talking with Jimmy off air. It's it didn't matter if it was Obama or if it was McCain got in. We were going to be dealing with healthcare because the healthcare industry saw that there was 25%, of Americans out there that didn't have it and thought, oh, you know what? That's a lot of money for us.
A lot of money.
McBomney.
It's
McCain, Obama, and Romney. It's McBomney.
Wow, that's pretty good, dude.
Yep. And they're all on the same team. It's like the three amigos, McCain and what's his name? The other ones, Lindsey Graham and Joe Lieberman. Ugh.
Joe Lieberman, yeah.
Ugh. The three amigos of war.
Yeah, I know. And also, another thing that's going on is Plan X. It's Pentagon seeks to spread U.S. military might to cyberspace.
Why did I know that whenever you hear something like Plan X, why is the Pentagon always involved, or DOD? You ever notice that?
You're not supposed to mention Plan X. Of all the plans.
I know, of all the plans, Plan X.
You're not supposed to mention. Great. Way to go.
Plan X is part of a larger DARPA effort begun several years ago to create breakthrough offensive and defensive cyber capabilities. Raw. It says with a cyber budget of $1.54 billion from 2013 to 2017, the agency will focus increasingly on cyber offense to meet military needs. So I guess Flame was like a good shot across the bow, I guess, to everybody, because now people are coming to report that this Flame virus has all of the markings of the NSA.
Yeah, you can bet Israel's got its hands on it, too.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure it was made. They were probably...
I say that because they created Stuxnet.
Yeah,
Obama's going to be awful upset about this because he's going, I got all these drones with missiles on it. I could just bomb their computer facilities. Why do we need a bug?
What happens when somebody hacks a drone? Oh, wait a minute. That's the plot of the new Call of Duty game. The quote-unquote terrorists hack a drone. And guess whose face they show as the terrorist as they're going through this list of, they're showing all these visuals and they go, the terrorists could be anyone. And just as they say that, they show a clip from one of the anonymous videos with it's like the person, like an animated person wearing the Guy Fawkes mask.
Right.
And they show that clip and they hesitate on there for a second. Gee, I wonder what kind of message they're trying to get across.
I know, that's the programming that we face, and this Plan X is really the Plan X is already in place. I mean, this is what they do. They listen in. They know what's going on. They launch these viruses. You can't tell me that these people don't have Plan X, Y, and Z already implemented. It's like I say, the legislation, and when it becomes public, it's been there for a while. When there's legislation enacted, it's been there for a while. They're just dotting the I and crossing the T's. So I mean, I don't know what this really isn't news, I guess you could say. I mean, this is stuff that we know is going on all the time, and it's only going to continue to get worse unless we do something about it, and God only knows what we can do about it at this point. Now, the other thing that is a major problem out there, guys, is this debt crisis, I guess you could say.
What debt crisis? Can't we just print our way out of a problem?
Yes, we could, because it doesn't matter anyway.
Because it's just paper, right?
Right, but it does. But it doesn't.
Well, if we told them to screw like Iceland did, then it really would be a problem.
That's right.
That's why you don't hear about Iceland anymore in the news, because they don't want you to know about what's going on over there.
Yeah, and the Telegraph is saying debt crisis, a $46 trillion problem comes sweeping in. So just as you thought, things couldn't get any worse. Credit markets are about to be hit by a veritable tsunami of maturing corporate debt. Standard & Poor estimates that companies in Europe, the U.S., and major Asian economies require a combination of refinancing and new money to fund growth over the next 4 years of between $43 trillion and $46 trillion. The wall of maturing debt is unprecedented, raising the prospect of further extreme difficulties in the credit markets. And this is where I have a major rub with LaRouche. Is LaRouche's solution to this this whole thing is to establish a new credit market. Well, credit has gotten us into trouble in the first place. I mean, our fiat currency is based on credit. That's all it is. There's nothing tangible to back it up.
No. A system that was worked out long ago just to keep us in servitude.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's worked like a champ. I mean, we are literally, our hands are tied at this point. You got people rioting in Greece and, election about to be done in Greece where they could decide whether or not they're going to stay in the euro. And, good for them if they decide to pull out. But life as they know it is never going to be the same again. I mean, as far as the standard of living has been in the last 50 years, they're just not going to see it again.
Well, Joe, I say it all the time. We're not free. We're just free range, like the chickens. They just make it comfortable for us. That's all. But we still live inside of a fenced-in area. We just don't see the fence, but it's there, and it's all controlled. And I think the greatest thing the Greece people ever did was, go back to the drachma. And you know what? You're right. It's going to suck, but at least they'll get through it and move on. The longer you put that off, the bigger the suck is going to be.
That's right.
Yeah, and wouldn't it, just be in their face if these guys come back and rebound and they start doing just awesome.
Ugh. I don't know, man. Last segment of the broadcast coming up. So we'll be right back. Joe Joseph, Tim Watts, Popeye, and Ken. See you in 3 minutes. Welcome back, folks. Don't forget, immediately following this broadcast is the Mae Brussels archives. So don't go away. Tune in to hear some of the most, it was really groundbreaking radio of its time. Fantastic stuff.
And only on Orion Talk Radio.
That's right.
Only on Orion Talk Radio.
She's been dead since 88, so it's kind of amazing that we were able to get her to come back on air.
Now, we were talking about the health care, and this news just broke right now. It says Obama tells donors health care fight may loom after court rules. This is interesting. President Barack Obama is confiding to Democratic donors that he may have to revisit the health care issue in his second term, a position at odds with his publicly addressed confidence that the U.S. Supreme Court will uphold the Affordable Care Act, according to 3 Democratic activists. As he previewed his agenda for the donors at the May 14th fundraiser, Obama said he may be forced to try to revisit parts of his health care plan depending on how the court rules later this month, said one activist who requested anonymity to discuss the president's comments. And this was at a $35,800 a plate fundraiser. It's very, very, very interesting, guys, that, you know, even Obama, I don't know what this all means, and if this is true, what they're saying, if he's really that confident that it's going to go down in flames. I just don't. I find it hard to believe that he's going out there and saying, "Well, you know, I'm going to have to revisit this in my next term." You know what I mean? It almost sounds too. It's fishy. What do you guys think?
Wow, a next term, that sounds bad right there. Yeah. I don't want to see another term.
But do you want somebody like Romney? Seriously?
No, absolutely not. You know, there is only one hope, and that's Ron Paul.
Yeah,
you know,
but I mean, think about it. You know, Romney gets elected. What do people do? Now, the people that are asleep, they're like, okay, yeah, this guy's going to change everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they let their guard down. And then they 4 years later, they're like,
and it just shifts the fight. I mean, you know, before you had the left, you know, screaming about Bush, and then Obama gets in. Now you got the right screaming about Obama, and then, you know, it's just the teeter-totter. It's that game that just continues on for those people that are still caught in the matrix and don't know any better.
That's right, and they're both playing. They're playing both sides of the fence. These people, you know, and that's the problem that we have. Is that you're right? Unless we get Ron Paul, you know, you're going to get more of the same. The only problem is people let their guard down because now you get a different person in the White House, and oh yeah, he's going to change it this time for real. He really means what he says. Yeah, he's not Obama. You know, I said, oh man, you know, nobody could be worse than Bush. Phew. Good night, Irene, man. This guy's bad. This guy's bad. Do you think that Bush would be where Obama is today, Ken, if, say, he had 4 more years? Let's just say he decided to do or pull a Roosevelt. You know? Do you think that Bush would follow the same Obama timeline?
You know, if you look at presidents throughout history, you always had a president you know, it's like Reagan. Reagan did his thing, and then they put in Clinton, and Clinton just pushed all these agendas and everything.
Right.
Then you got Bush, who was about as exciting as watching grass grow, but he pushed a little bit. The thing is that they push as hard as they can to get as much as they can, then they back off a little bit to put the people back to sleep. Then they put somebody in there like Obama, and he pushes real hard again and gets all his radical agenda, and then they put somebody in there to lull you back to sleep.
Yeah, but they used to do that, Ken, but they haven't done that since 9/11. I mean, it's been full speed ahead. I mean, it's been Bush, Cheney, and then Obama, Biden, and it's just been one theme all the way through. You know, I agree with what you said, but boy, it doesn't seem to be bearing out this time around.
Well, I relate 9/11 to the Reichstag fire before World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That was done by the German government, and what did they do? The next day, Hitler took control of the whole damn country and took away people's rights.
Yeah, and they killed the kid that they accused of doing it too.
Executed the kid that they accused it of, and he was a petty arsonist. He could never have set that fire.
Yeah.
Now you've got 9/11. There is so much evidence out there that it was an inside job, that it wasn't the planes.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they do? Don't believe the conspiracy theorists. Believe what we tell you.
Yeah.
And then they took away your rights.
Yep, that was the first thing out of their mouth. Remember the first thing they said? Actually, the first thing they said was, God, nothing's ever going to be the same ever again.
And they were right. That's the only truth they've told since.
Yeah, but, it's because they haven't made an attempt to get back at where it is. They just gave up. I mean, in the old America, they'd say, you know what, we got clocked, but we're going to get up, we're going to dust ourselves off, and we're going back right where we were. But nobody did that this time around. Everybody's like, oh, God, it's too bad it's over. The dream's over. We can't go back again. I don't buy that bullshit. That's exactly what it is, bullshit. We can do what we want. If people want to set and have that resolve to go back to be what we used to be and where we used to be, we could do it if people wanted to.
But you see, this is all about world domination. Let me ask you a question. When you have a country like Iran, and you impose very harsh sanctions, who does it hurt?
Well, it hurts the people.
You're damn right it does. It's not going to hurt the regime. It hurts the people.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do a thing to the mullahs or the ayatollahs and Ahmadinejad.
No, they get their stuff. Yeah. They get their stuff. They get all the food. They get all the fuel. They get everything that they need, man.
It's the people that suffer. It is always the people that suffer. Mm-hmm. And the clowns that are in charge just keep on clowning around.
That's right.
Our politicians, they know it,
Our politicians are the biggest bunch of thieves I've ever seen in my life.
And it's just gotten so bad and so blatant here as of late. I mean, they do it without fear of recourse. That they feel like they're untouchable. And to be quite honest with you, with the spine that I see in America, which is almost non-existent now, to some extent they are.
The thing is, when they pushed Obamacare through and they jammed it right up our chocolate whiz-wang, and I had to get that. Once they did that and the American people didn't burn the buildings down and drag them people out and run them out of town on a rail, they knew we got them. That's it. Yeah. It's over. Those people will do anything we tell them. And so far, they're right.
Yeah, that's a fact, Popeye, who you got coming on your show tomorrow night?
I think Jimmy.
Sounds like it. Oh my gosh, man!
No, I'm having a Bilderberg update, and then I have a member of one of the volunteers for Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth coming on for second hour. He there's and I forget the name of the event, but there's like Netroots, I think it is. And, usually you have all these different organizations coming together, and apparently architects and engineers were disinvited or something from the event. So I have him coming on to discuss that. So that's kind of interesting.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, they've done a lot of good work, the architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. And it's AE911truth.com. And so you got that going on. Ken, do you have anything going on Sunday? Are you doing the usual?
Just me.
That's fantastic. And the soundboards.
Me, the soundboards, and the chocolate whiz-wang.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Does it get any better than that? That's fantastic. Folks, the next big guest we have coming up is June 7th, which is, I think a week away. Yeah, it's a week away. June 7th, Michael Murphy from... oh, boy. What in the
world are they spraying? And now it's why.
I was thinking, is it what in the world, why in the world? No, what came first? That's right.
Yeah, what and then why.
Right. So we're discussing the what. What in the world are they spraying? And that'll be on June 7th. That's a week from tonight here on the Freedom Link Radio.
He's a good guy. You'll like him.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, anybody like that does good work.
I met him in person. He's really a truly genuine, nice guy. Like, he's really, like Alex was saying, it's amazing when you meet people in person how some of these people, you realize that they are really genuine. Mike's like one of those people. He's a really nice guy.
And I am a big fan because I used to love that song he used to sing, Wildfire.
What a putz.
Oh, my goodness.
Where's
Michael Murphy? Oh, I'm sorry.
Where's Tim's rim shot when you need it? But
oh, my goodness. Oh, I mean, that's worse than Ken territory. You just ventured into that's Major League, dude. Major League. But folks, yeah, we'd like to thank you for tuning in tonight. It was a broadcast to let our hair down a little bit and kind of de-stress from all the stuff that's going on. But pay attention to the news. Pay attention to what's important. The whole cannibal thing I think, is a big distraction. It's being overhyped and overplayed because there's things that you need to be paying attention to.
Yes.
So make sure that you do that. And make sure you tune in to Popeye's show tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And by the way, I interviewed Jim Mars earlier today.
Oh, fantastic.
So I will be airing that coming soon.
When's that? I mean, do we have to wait 3 months for it? Like the
No, within like the next week and a half, 2 weeks, because this coming week I already have Sunday and Wednesday booked. You know, I have Winston coming on Sunday to talk about some more things with Anonymous and a few other things, and then
talking about cups.
Paranoid, right from here from our own networks, coming on Wednesday. So possibly after that.
Oh, very good then. So definitely, folks, by August we should be hearing the Jim Mars interview. Thanks, guys, for coming out tonight. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Popeye. Uncle Tim Ed.
You betcha.
We'll see you on Sunday.